Good evening, everyone. My name is Master David. Today, I have invited my guest, Linda. Linda is one of my very, very good clients since 2020. I have known her for the past 2 years, and she has helped many of my clients and good friends to buy and sell their properties. And very, very thankful for her assistance. Many of my clients and friends have made very good returns from their property investment. So in this first series of our Imperial Harvest Expert Advisor program, I've invited her to come and share her real estate insights and expertise, and to also help our clients to understand what is the current situation that is going on in the Singapore real estate market. Because ever since we started talking about this period 9 feng shui and as well as the period 9 opportunities, many clients have gotten very excited because one of the key trend and opportunities I've spotted, it would be the luxury property sector as well as the private property sectors. So that means ever since the start of period 9, we have noticed, which is essentially since 2017, we have noticed many Singaporeans are jumping on this asset progression bandwagon. Many of them have been selling their HDBs and upgrade their houses to private condominiums or landed houses. And I've seen Linda help many of my clients and good friends to make very successful progression in this. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to invite her to share some of her thoughts and opinion. And in this particular talk itself, I've also taken this special effort to analyze one particular project which I identify as a project with very good feng shui potential all the way up for period 9 as well. And we have identified one specific unit that we have analyzed and and would like to later on share with our audience what is our recommendation for this investment. And of course, towards the end of the session, we will also be having this Q&A session where Linda will be sharing, answering questions from the floor, and you guys can take this opportunity to present and your thoughts and your opinion as well, right? So without further ado, now I think one of the question I've always had on my mind, right, is that are we in undersupply or a kind of oversupply situation in the Singapore real estate market? So Linda, maybe you I can get this opportunity to pick your expertise on this particular question.
Firstly, thanks for having me here tonight, Master David. Okay, so just to start off, I've actually prepared some slides for everybody to look at some of the charts in terms of our demand and supply in Singapore. This will help you to understand everything in a clearer manner rather than me just talking about the numbers without anything to pinpoint to. Okay.
Great.
Okay, so to start off, this is actually the supply completion chart for our previous market cycle in 2013 to 2017. What you are looking at right here is on a year-to-year basis, how many units in the private property segment is completing, which is what we commonly refer to as a TOP year. So back then, if you were to look at the cycle between 2013 to 2017, we had a total of 100,500 units available. So back then, every unit, or rather I would say that within a 5-year period, all the units were fully consumed by the entire market in Singapore. As of current, from 22/1 Q4 all the way through to beyond 22/5, our numbers have actually reduced from 100,000 units to 52,000 units only. So why is this so? If we were to recall back in 2018, July 6, there was a cooling measure that was introduced by our government. So 3 differences were actually made in the market on that day itself. One is the additional buyer's stamp duty increment of 5% across board. The second one is basically on the loan to value limit. So meaning to say back then on a first property, you could have gotten about like a 80% sale, 80% loan from the bank, but then after the revision, your first loan is only reduced to 75%. So this means that everybody got to come out with extra 5% cash or CPF in total. That brings us to a total of 25% down payment, excluding our taxes altogether. The last implementation in 2018, July 6, was basically the reduction on the land supply by the government. So government land sale was actually reduced by a 50%. That's the reason why if we were to look at the numbers, from 100,500 units, we were only left with 52,000 units in the entire Singapore. Okay.
Great, Linda. So at this point, right, actually one of the question that also comes to my mind is on the inventory, because as we all know, right, in the real estate market itself, demand and supply factors are both equally important. I would say, in fact, supply factor would be even far more important than demand, because a lot of time we notice that over the past few years, demand has always been increasing. But I think on the question on supply, do you have any numbers or any particular insights that you'd like to share with us on the inventory that we are looking at for this current market?
Okay, so if you were to look at our unsold inventory chart as of Q3 last year, you'll notice that we've actually gone below what we call a trigger point of threshold at about like the 22,000 mark. Meaning to say, any point in time when we are crossing below this threshold point of 22,000 unsold inventory unit, the developers in Singapore will generally start to replenish on the land bank. So what do we mean by that? If you were to recall, the previous en bloc cycle took place in 2017 to 2018. So back then, the reason why developers have to do this en bloc cycle was because of the fact that our numbers were falling short. And later I will also show you guys, like in terms of our annual take-up rate, how much of the consumption is being taken on a year-to-year basis as well. So if you were to look at the current number as of Q3 2021, we were left with about like 17,000 unsold units in the entire island. So then what happened in Q4? So in Q4 last year, our consumption within 3 months itself was already crossing 3,000 units in the private new sales market alone. So this brings us down to the entire unsold inventory in the entire Singapore to only about 14,000 units.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So if we were to compare based on our supply and demand, normally people will say, so we have so much units available, a total of 14,000 left. What about our take-up rate? Is it as fast as what we are putting into the market as well? So let's look at our upcoming supply first. So this was actually updated by URA as of Q4 last year. They planned a total of only about 4,500 units available. In terms of the completion, will be between 22.4 to 22.6. Beyond 22.6, so far no supply actually being made available by the government under the planned GLS sale.
Oh, I see.
So yeah.
So Linda, then this brings me to my next question, right? So, then how long can this supply, based on the demand factor, based on the supply factor that we're looking at from the upcoming supply, existing inventory, how long do you think, based on the current inventory, can this current property market last, like based on your understanding and your experience?
Okay, so I've prepared this chart based on our take-up rate from 2019 to 2021. If you guys remember, 2020 was when we had our COVID situation that started to take over the world completely. So in 2019, generally in the new project sales market, we had about like close to 10,000 sales that took place.
Wow.
Then moving on to 2020, despite the COVID situation, our increment in terms of the demand actually went up by about like 0.7%. So we actually also crossed like close to 10,000 units for sale in the entire of 2019 to 2020. But what happened last year in 2021? If you guys notice, the number actually had a steep jump from a 10,000 sale to 13,000 sale in general.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So one reason we can think of in terms of the heightened demand from the market is also because everybody is generally doing e-learning and working from home. So most families will need like a bigger space in terms of a number of bedroom type for their house. That is also the number one reason why people are doing upgrading, or rather we call like an asset progression in the past 1 to 2 years.
Great, very interesting insight. So, Linda, now I think, of all the different, I think just now, right at the beginning, I mentioned, we have both taken time to look at very specific projects to share with our audience, right? So, I think at this point, maybe we can jump straight in. I think there's one particular project that I think you have shared with me earlier on, and I think you have also assisted a number of your clients to buy that particular new launch project. I think that's known as the Amber Park, right?
Yeah.
So Linda, maybe can let you share a little bit more insights with us on this particular project.
Sure. So I just put together like an information for you guys to take a look. Amber Park is actually a freehold property located along Amber Road, Amber Gardens. Generally, why this project is very popular. In fact, as of today, it's about 90% sold. So they do have like 1 to 5 bedrooms available, of which majority of the 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms have already been fully consumed by the entire market. So Amber Park is about like 2 to 3 minutes walk from the upcoming Tanjong Katong MRT station. This is actually part of the Thomson East Coast Line that is stated to be completed in around end of 2023. So TOP for Amber Park will be somewhere mid in 2023, probably looking at about like June all the way to September. So for people who are looking to move in relatively faster in terms of the next planning of like 1 to 2 years, Amber Park is actually one of the best projects. In fact, this was a project that I was considering for myself. Yeah, so one particular layout that I really like is actually the 4+ study layout. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of families are looking more for bigger bedroom type for them to do e-learning and working from home as an extra office space. So this 4+ study actually works very well, even for a family with like 2 to 3 kids, or even for like young couples who are planning to expand their family in the near future.
Great. What are the units available for this one, and the level of the floor that we're looking at, since more than 90% is being sold, and what kind of price are we looking at? I think some people will probably have this question on their mind as well.
Yeah, okay, so just to give a quick summary on the available new developments along the entire stretch, we do have Amber Park, Coastline, and also Neon. So for Coastline and Neon, they generally do not have a 4-bedroom layout available. So the biggest unit type they have is actually like a 3-bedroom. So Amber Park actually stands out in terms of the land size, which is one of the 3rd largest land plot of size around the entire space. So we do have the existing resale condos over there that are thriving very well in terms of the resale market. That is actually even before the announcement of the MRT station a few years ago. Yeah. So for the 4+ study unit, we have 1302 square feet, where you do have a proper enclosed kitchen together with the helper's room. So units available actually from lower floor from a level 3 all the way to a higher floor on about level 20.
That's incredible. I believe that, I think this is also one of the unit that we highly recommend. So I think at this point, right, I'd like to take this opportunity, since, we have got quite a number of audience at this stage, for today, we have got a very, very special offer for all the live stream viewers. Now, for the first 10 action taker, people who are very keen on taking their next investment journey with Linda, to basically buy, sell their condo or their landed homes, you will be entitled to a complimentary free feng shui planning, floor plan planning from Imperial Harvest, and we'll also be assisting all Linda clients with in terms of the selection of the good feng shui unit as well. So all this will come in complimentary. Now, if you're interested to engage Linda, and after hearing very good reviews from us, from me myself, now feel free to dial in or to WhatsApp her directly right after this live stream, and she'll be very happy to take you through an obligation-free discussion to help you to plan your real estate investment journey. Now, without further ado, right, I believe that, we do, at this stage, it will be a very good time for us to start opening up the floor to some of the questions from our live stream audience. So now let's invite our audience to have some questions, with that they would like to ask Linda as well. Okay, let me just start looking at the comment section. Okay, now we have got Gerald. Gerald asks this particular question. Amber Park is near other condominiums. So what are its USP and how does it stand out from this development? Right, so Linda, would you like to take this question?
Okay, so most of the projects that are located along Amber Road or Amber Garden, they generally only have like one entrance and exit from the development. But for Amber Park, they actually have a dual entrance and exit for residents. So you can either choose to go in from Amber Gardens, which is the main entrance for the entire development, or you can exit from Amber Road, for example. So for people who are taking the ECP towards Changi, for example, you can go from either of. So you basically have access to both ECP, Changi, and also to the city, without having to do like a route from Amber Road all the way to Amber Gardens to exit. Then the other unique selling point for Amber Park is that this is actually one of the biggest plot around the entire area. And the fact that they have what we call like a stratosphere that's connecting all the 3 towers that is built by the developer. So on top of that, you can actually see like the fireworks or even have an unblocked sea view from there.
Oh wow, that's really wonderful. Great. I think we have got another question. Okay, let me just take a look at the next question. The next question comes from Pinwei. So Pinwei is asking this question. The recent hike in ABSC seems to target property investors who are looking to own more than one property in Singapore. Do you think that will affect the buying sentiment which may lead to developers dropping their prices?
Not really, because if we were to recall, like based on our unsold inventory as of today, we are standing at below 14,000 units in the entire island. So if we were to recall, last year our consumption rate was about like 13,000.
Yes.
Generally, we will not be able to like hold out to probably at most we can only have like the current inventory last us through the next 1 year to 1.5 years. So that being said, the increment in terms of the ABSD increment were basically more to target on foreigners, for example, as well as developers. So in the last 2 years, I would say that our foreigners take-up rate in the entire island's property estate was probably only capped at about 5 to 7%. Whereas like the recent move in terms of the cooling measure introduction in December was mainly to target on developers, because developers were already starting to unblock like the existing condos in Singapore in general. So another point to highlight is that generally in the government land sale, everything that's coming from like the government land sale is all like 99 years leasehold. So if you want to have like a property that is a freehold status, you will have to like probably get it from an en bloc. So by increasing a 10% ABST generally for developers, it also means that a freehold development is going to get like more rare moving forward. Even if there are en blocs that's successfully for example bidded in terms of the land in the past like 1 to 2 years, the land price itself is already higher. On top of that, like since COVID started, our construction material and even like labor costs have already increased by about 100% in general. So now is actually a good time for everybody to look into their freehold property while you can still lock in the value as of today.
Definitely. Thank you, Linda, for sharing. Oh, wow. I think we have got a testimonial from Miss Lim, Kale Lim. Oh, I believe this is one of the client that I referred. I think Miss Lim actually shared, I bought my first property from Linda. She was very patient to help us calculate our sums. Looking forward to our hot unit chosen by Master David. Oh, thanks, Ishu. Thanks for sharing with us your story and your testimonial. I believe Linda have got many great and amazing reviews, and this is also why we have taken this opportunity to invite her, because I think one particular fun fact is that I think what most of the audience may not know, or I mean, if you're not in the real estate, Linda actually for the past 2 consecutive years, in 2020 and 2021, she has been ranked top 10th in Propnex, and Propnex has actually more than 10,000 agents as of now. And to achieve such an incredible feat, it speaks of her expertise, experience, and professionalism. So that's also one of the reasons why Linda has been ranked consistently tops in her field. And now, of course, we have got other questions from the floor. The next question I have is from, let me just see. Okay, I have got Shayna. Shayna is asking this question. What are your top picks for undervalued new launch project that offers the greatest potential for capital appreciation? I think this is also one of the very hot favorite question that many people have on their mind, especially when Linda is doing all the property planning and all this kind of stuff, right?
To be honest, we have a lot of projects available in the entire market. So normally for me, I will stream down in terms of the entry price quantum for all my clients to ensure that they actually have a few, like probably about 5 to 7 developments for them to choose from. So then it's a little bit harder to answer this question in general now, because I don't know what is the price range you are looking at the moment. But generally, we do focus a lot more on the RCR and also the CCR properties in the last few years. So especially in the CCR, where we do see developers offering more discounts, not because they are, I would say not because they don't have a sale moving in terms of their development, but it's really because they just want to keep the sales running. So they're offering like a lower price in that sense for most of the buyers. So if you were to compare between the OCR, RCR and CCR, generally CCR growth rate is the lowest amongst the three market segments. So some people might say that does that mean that CCR prices cannot hold? It is not true. It's just that like as a matter of time, now the prices in CCR have not get increased to a certain level, which means that it still makes entry into the entire market easier as compared to the rest.
Great, fantastic. Thanks, Linda, for sharing with us your insights. Yeah, I believe, Shana, if you're interested, to get to know more about what kind of a project, I believe, with the understanding of your budget, Linda will be able to better assist you on this note. I think we have got another question from Cheryl. Cheryl is asking, let me just pin the comment. Cheryl is asking this question: developers are getting, more and more cautious in bidding for land. As Singapore government, raised the tax, what do you think would be the potential impact on Singapore properties in the long term? Because I believe that, yeah, this is a valid question, right? When people raise the ABSD, the tax and all this kind of stuff, naturally, it puts the developer on a more cautious note when it comes to en bloc. So Linda, do you think that's like a double-edged sword? Because on one hand, it's reducing the supply, because developer, when they're more cautious, very naturally, the land bank will not increase. On the other hand, the government is trying to help the prices to go down, right? I want to make the prices go down. So what do you think, based on your opinion, with this more cautious note from the developer, what will be the impact on the property price in Singapore in the long term?
Okay, generally the reason why the government is continuously increasing or rather introducing cooling measures from time to time is because of the growth rate in terms of our property prices in Singapore. So the rule of thumb is whenever we hit a double digit in terms of the price index increment, this is when we will notice that a cooling measure will be put in place. So to clarify, the reason for having cooling measures in place is not really to kill off the market in the real estate, but it is more to I would say slow down, or rather allow the market to increase gradually rather than a steep upslope in terms of the pricing. So yes, government wants to keep property prices affordable for everybody to buy into, but then at the same time we don't want for example developers to overbid on the land, so then it becomes a little bit difficult for the next generation to buy into real estate from there. So it's definitely good in terms of the control taken by our government to make sure that prices remains generally optimistic, stable, but at the same time the growth is gradual and steady.
So Linda, I heard from you in your previous, I think just a couple of months back, you just bought your property. Can you share with us, what property did you acquire, and what is the investment thesis and what thought process has gone through your mind when you made this property purchase? I understand it's in the RCR. Is it a CCR project that you bought, or?
Yes, it's a CCR project. So I actually bought into a 3-bedroom in Copper. So it's actually just located near Newton area. So technically, the land zoning is actually under District 9. So the reason why I eventually opted for this development is also because of the PSF. So I bought in I think the first week of January. So back then my PSF when I entered was about 2002 plus. As of today, a smaller size unit is probably about the same kind of price quantum as compared to the bigger unit that I bought into. PSF has also grown by about 400 PSF in about 6 weeks.
6 weeks, and it's 400 plus. Incredible. I believe that, when we work with, I think especially when Imperial Harvest, when we share, with our clients, I think the kind of agent that we prefer to work with, I think Linda is the exact kind of agent that, we prefer to work with as well, especially when it comes to referring, clients within our community, because she's the kind of person who really walks the talk, and talks the walk. Because it's very important that, especially when you're selling real estate, you have to be someone who has skin in the game, and this is also why, Linda has so much conviction in CCR projects, especially those in Orchard, District 9, 10, and 11, because she sees a lot of potential. And I think one important point that she has raised, and I think it resonates very strongly with me personally, because as you can see, right, over the past 5 years, we have seen RCR, OCR projects, they have risen very sharply in terms of prices, but in terms of the price appreciation in CCR is still lagging behind. Now, from the investor perspective, this is a clear state of undervaluation, which means that there is more rooms and more potential for growth when it comes to the CCR project. And I think this is also one of the key investment theses why Linda, decided to take a big jump and went into the CCR project this year as well. So this is something really, really incredible. And I think this is also why, over the years we have referred so many clients. And today, this is I'm very heartened to say that, wow, this is having a client, from the Imperial Harvest community to share her testimonial of how Linda has helped her to pick this project, Treasures at Tampines. Now Treasures is completely sold out already. And I think Linda probably also contributed quite a few units to this sale as well. So I think when I work with Linda and on this particular project, I mean, I can share a little bit of the process. So I think when this client issue first came to see me, and she said, "Hey, Master David, back then, she and her then boyfriend, now is the husband already." So, and when they first started off their journey, I think when they came on and they asked me, "Hey, Master David, should we look at the HDB or EC, kind of a project?" So I think back then I was telling them, "Hey, why not you get your professional opinion from Linda?" And then after Linda did the sums and studied and surveyed the real estate market, Linda told them that, "Hey, why not you consider Treasures at Tampines?" So back then, I think that was when they got quite excited, and then they came to see me, and after that, I spent the whole evening reviewing the entire site plan. I think that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, there was still quite a lot of units, but now it's fully sold. And very, very thankfully, we managed to identify one particular very, very beautiful feng shui stack, good feng shui, and of course, very excellent capital appreciation potential as well. I think over the past 2 years, Treasure at Tampines, the prices has gone through the roof. It has gone through the roof. They are sitting on at least a 6-figure gains, ever since they made that investment decision. And for that, I thank Linda, because I think without her guidance and her expert opinion, and of course, her understanding of the real estate market, my client, they probably would not have made that move. And I think because of her encouragement and her inspiration, and today they are sitting on a very, very nice 6-figure gains. So this is why I think, when it comes to making a single biggest move in our real estate, it's very important to have the right advisor. Just like I think when Linda first came on board and when they work with us, she got us as a feng shui advisor. We see a lot of alignment in our values, and that's also what brings us on the partnership journey to work with Linda, to share with Linda how she can help the Imperial Harvest community to thrive, to excel in their real estate investments. Great. Now we have got a question from Shilei. Okay, so Shilei is asking this question. So Shilei is asking, in times of uncertainty like this and the US government pending a rate hike in March, right? How do you think the prices in property will be impacted? Well, this is a pretty economist kind of a question. So, okay, Linda.
Okay, so generally in Singapore, we do take on the interest rate from the US portion, but then technically we already know back then that in 2022 to 2023 the prices in terms of interest will be heightened or increased. So this is actually normal, but then just to be on the safer side, in Singapore generally our interest rate, even if you compare to about like 2 to 3 decades ago, now our interest is kept at a very justifiable rate of about like 2 point something% at the peak. As of today, I would say that in terms of the floating rates, we are going below 1%, and for the fixed rate, we are going at about like 1.2%. So generally, we're expecting 3 hikes in terms of the interest for this year.
Okay.
So it's good that we actually hedge against like the increment in terms of the interest by putting our money into property faster, so that you are technically paying lesser in terms of the interest on a month-to-month basis. Yeah. But then it's also a good sign when there is an increment in terms of the interest rate, because it also shows that the prices generally in real estate are picking up. So it's like a direct relationship in terms of like the interest rate versus the property price index. One goes down, the other one will come down. Whereas like, for example, interest rate increase, the property prices will also follow suit.
Great, fantastic. I've got this Audience, Jasmine just asked, I think, can I ask who's the developer of this project and what are their track records? I believe she's referring to Amber Park. So, yeah, maybe this question to you.
Okay, Amber Park is actually developed by CDL, City Development. It's like one of the long-standing or most reputable developer in Singapore. So even as of now, for example, they do have a few projects running in the market. So one project that I was actually just at yesterday was Novel 18. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this is actually one of the more upmarket development around the town area as of today. Yeah.
Fantastic. Really great. Okay, very insightful, very wonderful session we have with Linda. So is there any other further questions from the floor? Any other things that you guys like to ask? Let me just see if there's any other things. Okay, let's review some of the comment section. Yeah, I think we have got this audience, Chris, asking, what Imperial Harvest treasure you're wearing at this point. So, Linda, maybe you can want to share with them what are some of the Imperial Harvest treasure you own over the years.
I'm actually wearing like the ring here.
Oh, great, fantastic.
So I'm wearing this on a like daily basis because it looks really nice. And I think Master David also kind of like customized it for me with like a rose gold kind of like finishing.
Great. I believe Linda House also has a few other items as well, like the Jade Mountain, the white inkstone, as well as the crystal. Yeah, she has really done up her house feng shui. I think this is also something very important, especially when it comes to this COVID period where many people are working from home. It makes house feng shui very, very important. So I think this brings me on to when it comes to sharing with our audience, is at this junction, if you guys have a very strong interest in looking at new launch, landed house, or even buying and selling of properties. And if you wish to go through Linda, like what I mentioned just now, you get complimentary, unit selection and complimentary floor plan planning with Imperial Harvest, only limited to the first 10 action taker from this live stream. So this is something that we would like to extend to our live stream viewers as well. So if you're keen to take action, massive immediate action, Linda's contact number is already in the live stream banner. So do drop her a WhatsApp text and get in touch with her for an obligation-free discussion. Great. Now with that, I think if there are no other further questions from the floor, then we will be coming to the end of the live stream. And unless there's any other things that you'd like to add on, Linda, anything else?
I would think that in terms of the real estate market now, the next, I would say 1 to 2 quarters will be quite critical for everybody who's looking to enter, because we are really running very short in terms of the available supply in the market. So likely, you will be seeing technically in the last 2 to 4 weeks, we do see a lot of developers increasing in terms of the prices for the balance units already. Yeah.
Great. Totally understand. So I believe the other factor that makes us want to FOMO into the market is also because the fact that we also have the rate hike coming up. So if you want to get into a new property, lock in your low interest rate while it's still low, get in touch with Linda. Very important. I think this is something a very important session. I think first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Linda for taking her precious time and to spend this wonderful evening with us. And I think I've gained a lot of insights, a lot of understanding, and I believe our client and our Imperial Harvest community have benefited tremendously from Linda's generous sharing as well. And like what we mentioned just now, we're going to just repeat this once more, is that if you're interested to get in touch, and want to buy, sell your property, condo, landed, or even shop houses, get in touch with us, get in touch with Linda, and we'll be providing you with complimentary feng shui unit selection and your planning of your entire, space using feng shui principles as well. So with that, we have come to the end of this live stream. Thanks, Linda, once again.
Thanks, Master David.
Great. We'll look forward to seeing you guys soon.